Hi, folks. Rick Wedell here. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at RFG Advisory. Thought we'd come to you today with a brief market update, kind of let you know what's going on out there. S&P 500 not having the greatest of days, off about 1.5% today, down to about 68.35 due to some developing sort of trade tensions, geopolitical tensions over the weekend. I would just note, that basically brings us to flat for the year. So if you opened up your, end of year account statements and were pleased with that number, you should be back to that number today. So, don't freak out too much. Obviously, some concerns emerging around Greenland over the weekend, and with the administration being sort of adamant that the United States needs to own Greenland, that it's not enough for Greenland to just let us do whatever we want to on that particular piece of land. And the Trump administration coming out and threatening tariffs on any of the European countries that sort of oppose us being able to purchase Greenland. In addition, there were some European countries that sent a couple of troops over to Greenland, which was viewed, I think, by some of the administration as an escalation of the situation. When I say a couple of troops, it is like, I think Germany sent 15 people. So it's a very small number. But anyway, that has sort of spiraled. This is a little bit more of a big deal than, let's say, what's going on in Iran or Venezuela. Normally, geopolitical things like this don't matter too much to the markets. But in this case, the U.S. and Western Europe are very strong trading partners. And to the extent that this spills over into more of an economic skirmish between those two countries, then obviously that has implications for the United States and for markets. And that's one of the reasons why you're seeing markets sell off. I'd also just note that European countries haven't retaliated yet. This is normally what happens in these types of trade disputes. It's not as if these European countries are just going to say, like, okay, slap us with some more tariffs. They are likely to come back with tariffs on U.S. goods and or just direct curtailment of U.S. economic activity. And so that sort of, has the market in a little bit of a funk. I would note that this actually is a week where the Trump administration will be over in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum. And so there is opportunities for face-to-face meetings to potentially de-escalate the situation. And it certainly would be consistent with the administration's historical behavior pattern to threaten something and then walk that threat back, particularly if the market freaks out a lot about it. So I wouldn't necessarily be, pulling my hair out over this. It is some market volatility. Obviously, we don't love market volatility, but I truly believe that cooler heads will prevail. Elsewhere in financial markets, 10-year Treasury to this morning is up to about 4.28%. That is the highest level since last August, on the back of really a kind of a global fixed income sell-off driven by Japan. Japan has been having some difficulties with sort of their fiscal policy, austerity. Japan is a large borrower, large issuer of debt on a global stage. They had a very weak 20-year auction. So there's some concerns about that market. And when we see that market start to sell off, it just generally impacts current Treasury markets globally. And so we're seeing a little bit of weakness on the 10-year. Which, hopefully that situation resolves itself. In the meantime, that's pushing yields a little bit up just across the curve. Last but not least, it is very early in fourth quarter earnings season. We've had about 33 companies report, so not even 5% of the S&P 500 reporting. However, those earnings reports have been very good. EPS, earnings per share, tracking up about 17% year over year, which is well ahead of the sort of plus 9% earnings expectations. I will just say, though, it is very early days. And so we'll get more information, obviously, as earnings season progresses as to the overall health of companies coming out of 2025 and then their projections for 2026. With that, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or to your advisor. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.